Hey everybody, it's Calvin and welcome to a brand new series I'm doing on my channel. It's going to be called the Miasma of Discussion. And for people who are just tuning in for the first time on my channel, this is something I never usually do, but I'm going to start today. Basically in each episode we're going to talk about a different topic that's going on. Right now I really want to talk about Dark Souls 3. And of course we got the new screenshots that came out this week and I really want to talk about them. So basically this series is going to be like a casual let's play whilst discussing some amazing going-ons that are happening in the gaming industry right now. And for me that's a little bit exciting because I never get to talk about serious things in my videos. It's usually just talking about the gameplay that's happening at hand, and this won't be as serious. This is just going to be a little bit casual discussion. If you want to comment and talk about your opinion on certain things, I will read out the comments in the next episode and I will discuss them, and you can leave a rebuttal in the next episode, or the episode that I basically respond to your comment in. So this game's Demon Souls, and if you actually haven't played Demon Souls before, I honestly cannot recommend it enough. If you're a PlayStation 3 owner, I cannot recommend it enough. My character I'm playing as, just to start it off, is called Maka, and this is the character I'm beginning with. It's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. That's the area we have to go to as well. So recently, if I'm not wrong in saying the name, Fujitsu magazine, or Fumijitsu, I might be blank on the name, released some screenshots, not screenshots, but kind of pictures from Dark Souls 3, an upcoming game, and all of them seem to actually indicate kind of a readiness for them to say, don't worry, Dark Souls 1 is kind of returning in Dark Souls 3. The roots that we once knew, about this beautiful game, Dark Souls 1, is returning. Although I realize that Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 are very different, I think both games got a lot of things right, and both games got a lot of things wrong. Actually, no, I don't want to say a lot of things, because I actually disagree with that statement completely. First redaction, and we're already only like 5 minutes in. But yeah, I believe Dark Souls 2 got a lot of things right, even though, like, they did get a few things wrong, like goddamn soul memory. I never want to see soul memory again. If I live to be 1,000, I hope to never see soul memory ever again. God, I love the backstabs in this game. Oh, excuse me. He stabbed me so hard I coughed. But basically, I'm going to show the first screenshot to you guys up on the screen now. And this is called an unkindled sorcerer in untended graves. This is kind of cool. What it seems to be is the region before we get to the Firelink Shrine. And yes, the Firelink Shrine is returning in Dark Souls 1. If it's the same Firelink Shrine, I don't know. But hey, it might be. I'm not one to actually pretend I know these things. So the unkindled the unkindled sorcerer in the untended graves. So these graves are untended, he's unkindled. Unkindled seems to be the new type of hollow, which has been appearing in a lot of the gameplays of Dark Souls 3, especially the beta, which I actually got to play, so I can actually talk about that as well as we're going through this episode. So what this area seems to be, the untended grave, seems to be, as I said, the area, the tutorial area before you get to the Firelink Shrine. There was always a tutorial area in the Souls games. I think Dark Souls 2 broke the mold and didn't do they did a tutorial area, but they didn't do a big test to get you into the actual main area, which I kind of like the test. It's kind of like gets you ready for the entire game. Like when you're playing Dark Souls 1 and you kill the Asylum Demon, you get that first rush. It kind of feels like you're unstoppable, and you get into this game and it just kicks your ass. I'm gonna try and backstab him. I'm playing as a magician, by the way, just to let people know. The camera angles are a bit weird out here. I'll let him come out to me. So, confirmed, there will be an area, apparently, before the main area of the game, which seems to be the hub, Firelink Shrine, which out of all the hubs, I say has to be my second favorite hub. After, of course, the hub we're going to see in this game, which is the Nexus. Now, the next screenshot I'm going to show up on the screen now is called, if I'm pronouncing this right, Idiux Gundyr. Or Gunder, battles players to test their worth. So this looks like the boss before you enter the game. which is cool. I like the look of him. I like how he looks. He kind of looks familiar to another piece of armor that's in Demon Souls, King Doran's armor, which I don't think there's any connection really. I think they just realized that it looked cool and they were like, let's put that back in the game. This guy right here, by the way, is notorious for giving a lot of new players kind of a problem, because he does not let up until you do, basically, and he is mad auto tracking. So we're gonna have to wait for him to swing again. I don't have a powerful enough weapon, I think, to... That was very silly. I mean, now he's gonna want to hit some more. Come on. Okay, then. So breaking his guard ain't the easiest thing in the world, I'll admit. But yeah, this monster that's supposed to be testing our worth kind of reminds me of, or is kind of the equivalent of the Asylum Demon. Oh, he got me there. And the Asylum Demon, as we all know, is probably one of the most beloved bosses in the entire game. At least by me, at least. I love the Asylum Demon quite a bit. Kind of reminds me of the boss we're going to be facing up here, which is actually the Vanguard Demon. The next screenshot that we actually got to see was this picture right here. It's called the Dark Mass is exploding from Gundar. The Black Mask, I believe, translated from Japanese, seems to mean it's an omen that is spreading like evil across the world. All of this basically means to me that we're gonna get. I should pay more attention to the gameplay here. All of this means to me that we're gonna get. There we go. Enough playing around, son. Okay, I just wanted to get that topic out of the way before I actually fucking killed him. He's a little bit of a baddie. But yeah, the Dark Mass exploding, I actually got to fight this Dark Mass in the beta. It's not the same Dark Mass, but it seems that it might be a common thing throughout the Dark Souls 3 world. I'm not extremely happy about it because I got creamed the first time I fought it. It was quite embarrassing, actually. I'm willing to admit that I was embarrassed as hell by getting absolutely trashed by this Black Mass. By the way, the boss coming up, I will most likely die. I'm not promising anything about it, but I'm not the best at fighting this demon. So if you expect me to live, just know that it's a scripted death. Let's just realize that before we go excuse me, before we go into it. But yeah, this Black Mass also looks like it's basically gonna be the first boss, which again, that's a bit crazy even by Souls standards, because I fought that Black Mass that seemed to be not even as big as the Black Mass you're gonna see on the screen. I'm gonna keep a picture on the screen if I can. I fought the Black Mass in the beta, and holy god, if you don't have some fire bombs, you're gonna have a bad time. And that's just plain and simple. You're gonna have a bad time. It looks pretty cool though, and that's really what I love about the Souls series, that it always looks fairly cool. I'm actually quite proud of the character I created, because it's actually really hard sometimes to actually create a character that actually looks good in Demon Souls, because all of them look like a pile of shit sometimes. But yeah, as always, as I'm playing this, don't hesitate to let me know what you think about the Black Mass, or, you know, the untended graveyard that will be the area before Firelink Shrine. Don't hesitate to actually tell me if you think I'm wrong, if you think there's not going to be an early boss. Before we fight this boss, I'm actually going to talk about the next screenshot, just because I don't want to actually have to fight the boss and think about the screenshot at the same time. It's called A Mercenary Looking Over Firelink Shrine. And I believe, I don't actually have the official translation from Japanese. That's one part that's actually been translated from Japanese. But I do know that apparently he's a noble warrior. He got 2 blades on him, which means he's going to be power stancing those blades if he's any sense. And he's basically going to be a dex type guy. But yeah, not much to go on in that picture other than he's basically probably just defeated Gundar, and he's looking at the Firelink Shrine. So we basically figured out what our first boss in the game is going to be. It's going to be Gundar, if all else goes well. And of course, the next picture we have is the Hawkwood Fugitive from Farron's Undead Legion. Now this is probably my favorite screenshot for the entire game so far. Farron's Undead Legion. Like, do we realize what this means? This means that there is a war, that there was a war going on in possibly Lorjan, but all we can say is basically this undead place that we don't know what the name is. You can see the boss through the fog, by the way, right here. But there was a war going on. Apparently, in the literal translation for Japanese, it's not fugitive, it's actually deserter, which means he deserted the army, which means he's probably brought shame. But the fact there's gonna be a force or an army in this game, and who the hell, are we gonna meet Farron? I mean, that stuff is pretty cool. Let's go fight this guy here. Nice bit of damage. I've never actually I'm gonna be completely honest and say that I've never actually defeated the Vanguard. I say Vanguard Demon because he of course is a demon. Okay, so we're doing good so far. I got some fresh spice. I got greedy. I got greedy. Sit on me, man. Sit on me, man. We did it! So that was the defeat of the Vanguard. Pretty cool stuff, I have to say myself. I love this boss. Again, this is what Gundar's probably going to be. It's just basically a test to see if you're even good enough to get here to Firelink Shrine. But the test, I guess, is... There's not really a test in this game, as we're going to find out throughout this Let's Play. Alright, so the next screenshot, as I got the Grey Demon Soul that we're going to talk about, is the Pyromancer in the Cathedral. And apparently this Pyromancy is described as a primitive form of sorcery. Which is kind of weird because in Dark Souls 1, which was probably hundreds of years ago, I'm not going to speculate on what time it is, but Dark Souls 1 was also considered to be many... Oh, that scares me every time, man. Dark Souls 1 also considered Pyromancy to be a primitive and outdated type of sorcery. Which means that there's still going to be Pyromancy in the game, but that's a good thing, right? But who knows in what context. We might have new sorceries. If not, Pyromancy is pretty extensive already, and Dark Souls 2 really kind of opened up and made that even more extensive. They did delete a lot of cool Pyromancies, but that's a story for another day when I talk about Dark Souls 2 versus Dark Souls 1. Not gonna incite a riot, but I just want to talk about that type of stuff because I did like Dark Souls 2, I did like Dark Souls 1. So right here is the Dragon God. Pretty motherfucking cool person. The next screenshot I want to talk about is the Firekeeper in the Firelink Shrine. This is something that I kind of consider to be a Dark Souls 1 thing. The Firekeepers kind of did not have a presence as much as they did in Dark Souls 1. The Firekeepers kind of seemed like retired old biddies that didn't want to like work at all. They just kind of retired, and once they retired, they stayed together, just ate biscuits and just insulted people as they walked through their doors. But this one seems to be hell-bent on serving the player, which is a good thing. We got some shards of Heartstone, that's pretty good. And also, you can see in the screenshot she has a crown over her eyes, which kind of reminds you of someone we're going to meet very soon, known as the Maiden in Black. Renowned Soldier Soul, man. Renowned Soldier Soul. Renowned Soldier Soul. Look at him with his fist. He knows what's up. He knows what's up. Just get a good look at him here. Wow. This game impresses me every single time. And of course, one that I'm kind of confused on, excuse me. One that I'm kind of confused on, but a lot of people may be able to give me some insight on, is the raising the flag. Raising the flag below the high wall of Lothric. This one kind of confuses me. I don't know why. If this is going to be a game mechanic, is raising a flag going to be a game mechanic? That'd be kind of cool. But before we talk about the next one, let's get punched by the Dragon God.
Strength be granted so the world might be mended. Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. So the world might be mended. This is the Nexus. It holds together the northern land of Boletaria. Thou canst not exit the Nexus, but each of the 5 archstones will connect them to another.
Each of the 5 archstones will bring me to another node, or connect me to another node. Pretty awesome. Again, also, this is a casual Let's Play. I won't be going really deep into the lore. If you want to know about the lore, there's people like Epic Name Bro who do full playthroughs of this, especially Demon Chat. It's really, really good. Really, really good if you want to learn more about this game. Or if you just want to talk to people, you can talk to people as well. And you can learn more about the game as well. Okay, so there's a few more things I want to talk about, especially with the Dark Souls 3 thing, as we look and kind of explore around this area. Of course, we got the screenshot of the Dirty Beast, which is known to dig up souls from underneath the swamp, which to me looks like Vicar Amelia mixed with the Cleric Beast. It's nice to see that they're reusing tropes from the previous games. You might hear that there's no sound when I'm rolling. That's completely normal. That's completely normal. The doctor said it's completely normal. Let's talk to this dude really quickly.
Well, you slipped through the fissure too, did you? You came for demon souls? Or to save this land and be remembered as a hero? Hunting for demons? Try one of the Archstones. Now, go. That is why you came, is it not? To this accursed Boletaria?
Deep shit, brah. Deep shit. So there's a few characters over here that we're going to be talking to eventually anyway. This is Stockwell Thomas. This is Blacksmith Baldwin, I like to say. This is Embossa Lady. She's pretty cool. There should be another guy here, but I don't think we've set him free yet. Or don't think we've activated him. We cannot buy miracles just yet. We're not going to be a miracles person though. We've half our health though, which is good. That's always good. This is the first place we're going to be going, which is the Boletarian Palace. But as you notice, these things are kind of blocked out as well. The Archstone is sealed. On the screen right now, I'm going to show you something called the Library Sage, which is covered in wax, held captive by a demon. Now, VaatiVidya, when I read this, I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. It's a person being held captive by a demon by the wax. VaatiVidya has a different interpretation that it's wax that is used to protect the Library Sage, or the warrior with the knife, which is pretty interesting as well. I think it's pretty interesting to know that apparently she's being protected from these magic books. Which, when we hear magic books, what do we think of? We think of the man who owned books, Seat the Scaleless. I don't think he's coming back. But because he's dead, he died. He was vanquished. Well, as we saw, he did come back in a way with the Moonlight Greatsword in Dark Souls 2, so it's not impossible that he would come back. Not improbable either. You know. Who knows, maybe Dark Souls 2 is not even canon. Who knows? It's totally canon. We gotta realize it's canon. One thing you notice about this is the loading screens are very long. The cleric on a journey, wearing blue to mark him as undead. This is pretty insane. So we know there's going to be undead people in the game. But we ourselves are not undead. We are kindled. We are unkindled, and we become kindled to become Lords of Cinder, I like to believe. This is a pretty interesting tidbit to know that the undead have become such a massive part of society. They're not pushed off to the side. But they are kind of still segregated in a way that there's people still trying to show people which are the undead and which are not. It's kind of like, oh, stay away from these guys. It's kind of a little bit too 50s for my liking. But hey, what can you do? I'm kidding, by the way, that it's a 50s one. It's not racist or anything. It's actually just... well, it is racist in a way, I guess. It's undead-cist. And I don't like it. It's actually pretty fucking cool. This game is awesome. Demon's Souls and Dark Souls 3. So far from what I've seen. Awesome. This will open later on, which actually I have to turn off the internet on my PS3. So this will actually open up because I want to stay in White Word Tendency. Bam! But this cleric obviously looks a lot like a skinnier version of Petrus. Obviously I'm not saying that he's his son or something, that would be very silly. But it's pretty interesting to note. Pretty interesting to note that that blue marks the undead. That any color marks the undead, really. The shield isn't very good. I'm gonna have to get a different one eventually. I like this sword though. I really do like this sword. What sword is this again? It's the short sword. I really do like the short sword. Look at that attack. Oh my god, that attack is so good. Best attack in the game. Alright. The next one is Old Ruins High Above the Clouds. This is I don't know much about this one. I heard it's something to do with dragons. I really do not know much about this one. I'm not going to pretend to know about this one, so I'm not going to talk about it as much as the other ones that I have. But it seems like a place we can get to. We've already been above the clouds in Dark Souls 2 for when we actually met the Ancient Dragon. Fuck, the Ancient Dragon battle is hard. It's hard when you don't know what to do. It becomes easy once you know how to use the foot method and the following the tail and stuff like that. But holy crap, if you don't know that boss can seem very freaking hard. I've seen people spend 2 hours on that boss at least. I think Robaz, a YouTuber, spent about 4 hours on it in total. And of course the last one I'm going to talk about now is probably my favorite one. It's called The Odd Looking Man Calling Himself Ludlith. And also calling himself the Lord of Cinder. Wow. Wow. So Vaati, again, I'm going to quote someone else because it's kind of like quoting a source at this point. VaatiVidya seemed to think that he may be delusional. And it kind of makes sense because originally in the gameplay, the original big gameplay that Lobos Jr. and Peeve and Vaati got to play, the place that they actually fought in was actually called the Wall of Ludlith. Now maybe just maybe that he thinks the whole world revolves around him. He's obviously going to think he's a king, which is kind of a cool tidbit, I guess, about the game. But this guy looks ridiculous. He might have more sinister powers than we actually know. He might turn out to be a London Nashandra, but hey, who could not see Nashandra being a bad person? That's absurd. Right here, just a little quick note. We're gonna be going here later, but this is Meralda's place. We're gonna need to go to Meralda's place because we're gonna use a particular weapon throughout this game. I'm thinking of doing a Crease Blade. You need to stop it, man. But yeah, this guy seems delusional. He seems to be calling himself the Lord of Cinder. Which could mean a bunch of things, I guess. I shouldn't be jumping to conclusions that much, but he's probably heal up as well. But that's all the screenshots that actually came out from Fumijitsu. Another one leaked, but I couldn't get my hands on it at the moment. If I do, I'll actually talk to you about it, and we'll talk about it in the next episode of Miasma Discussion. In the next episode, you guys can comment as well and tell me what you guys think. And actually, we'll have a discussion about it. This is the whole point of Miasma Discussion. Even if you don't like Dark Souls, talk about why you don't like Dark Souls. It's pretty simple. The reason why I'm playing Demon Souls is because I feel like a lot of this is kind of like Dark Souls 3 more than Dark Souls 2 was. So I'm playing Demon Souls just because I don't want to step on anyone's toes, especially since there's a lot of people I know who are smaller channels than me that are also doing Dark Souls 1 playthroughs. And they're doing it for the first time, so I can't wait to see those. So that's gonna do it for this episode. There's the screenshots right there. I give little tidbits, but there's not much of an opinion I have on them. I pretty much feel like all of them, like for example, like all of them are pretty cool tidbits about the game. Obviously, it's showing us kind of a progression through the game up to Firelink Shrine. We don't get to see much after that, but there is a cool thing that you look at the picture where he raises the flag below the Wall of Lothric. You can actually see that there's a few little points of interest there throughout the game, so we actually know where everything is in relation to everything else. Could this whole game, the whole of Dark Souls 3 be played on a frickin' mountain? One thing I actually didn't talk about that I'll talk about really quickly right now, actually, just to finish up, is that picture that I actually didn't talk about in depth was the hunter. The noble hunter looking on at Firelink Shrine. I parried him. I actually parried his parry. Yeah, the noble hunter looking on a Firelink Shrine. This is interesting to me because you actually get to see Firelink Shrine. I for one am hoping that because it looks a lot like Firelink Shrine. I for one am hoping that it actually is Firelink Shrine. It's just literally damaged so much by weather and erosion, and maybe even the battle that happened back then right below it. I mean, if you think about it, the battle that happened right below it was pretty intense. It was you versus Gwyn. It could have destroyed all the mountains around it. It could have destroyed everything around it. And it has been years since anything's happened. So that's all that I'm going to talk about in this episode. In the next episode, the topic will be any follow-ups, if there is any that I have to talk about. And of course, the main topic will be, did we cure the curse in Dark Souls 2? And is the curse cured completely in Dark Souls 3? Thank you very much for watching. You did it, very kind. This has been Miasma of Chat. Miasma of Discussion, I should say. And this guy knows his fate. The fate of the casket, sir! Yes!